Want a quick science-backed recipe for your lungs? Well, here, check this out. So this is a science-backed recipe that I've put together. This is going to help not only get the stuff that's in your lungs out of your lungs, but this can also help potentially keep your lungs from being infected further. Now I have like 5 or 6 different herbs in this particular blend. Some of them can be substituted, and we'll go over that at the end of the recipe, or at the end of the video. I'm going to hold it up, let you get a screenshot of the actual recipe, and I'll show you where you could actually get a downloadable version of this for free. Okay, so the very first herb on my list is obviously going to have to be mullein. Mullein is a super good lung herb. This helps to remove phlegm from the inside lining of your lungs as an expectorant, so it helps get it out. But it's also highly antimicrobial. It's known to help kill viruses and bacteria, and in other parts of the world, mullein leaf is used to treat tuberculosis. So this is literally one of the best herbs in the world. The next herb on this is going to be horehound. Now, horehound has some very limited applications as far as being antimicrobial, but this is specifically a lung herb. So this is going to help dry up the mucus and the phlegm that's in your lungs and in your sinuses, but it'll also help you get it out. So once you get it out, keep it out. The third herb on here is going to be ginger. Ginger has a compound called gingerol in it, which is highly antimicrobial. So gingerol is known to help kill viruses and bacteria, even fungi, but it's also good to help dilate the brachial lining of your lungs, so it'll actually make your brachial tubes get bigger, so that way you can breathe easier. It'll also help to remove the phlegm from your lungs, which is part of the issue. Now, this will also help prevent infection as well, so it kind of serves a double purpose. The fourth herb in this particular list is going to be one of 2 herbs. You can either use slippery elm bark or you can use marshmallow root. And if you're going for more of the expectorant immune boosting properties, you're going to use slippery elm. Slippery elm is more of an immune booster. It doesn't have any real antimicrobial properties, but it has a compound called mucilage in it that's going to help soften up and coat your throat in order for you to be able to cough up the phlegm better. Marshmallow is highly antimicrobial, so it has a lot of antimicrobial properties, marshmallow root. But it doesn't necessarily have the same property. It's also a good expectorant, but it's not as good of expectorant as horehound. So you can use either or. I would recommend you don't use both, but that's just me. All right, so the third one is going to be peppermint leaf. If you don't like peppermint, you can substitute this for rosemary. They're both part of the mint family. And the reason why we're going to do this is peppermint has antimicrobial properties, but so does rosemary. Now, rosemary will make this whole thing taste a little bit like spaghetti sauce, whereas peppermint will give it a little bit of a minty flavor, and it'll help with the congestion. The menthol in the peppermint is going to help get the stuff out of your lungs, but menthol is also antimicrobial, so it'll help get rid of viruses and bacteria. Rosemary also has the same properties. It has, it does help a little bit to get rid of the phlegm from your lungs, but it acts more as an antimicrobial, so it's going to help to get rid of whatever's causing the problem. Okay, so the very last one is optional, and you don't need to have this. It's pleurisy root. Pleurisy root is also a really good lung herb, but it can be considered strong for some people. So you want to be very careful and wise on how you do this. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and discuss the proper ratios for this particular recipe. I'm going to hold it up for a screenshot. If you would like to see a copy of this recipe that's downloadable, that you can download and then hold in your phone or your computer, or actually print it up for yourself, I have it available on my Patreon page, Patreon The Herb Guy. Now, these are free. They don't cost you anything. You can just go over there, pop them, download them, and move on. You don't have to do anything at all except to download them. So here's the ratios that we're going to do for this particular blend, and if you want the actual recipe, you can go over to my Patreon and get it there. Alright, you've waited this long, so here's the recipe and here's the actual ratios you want to use. I call this Love My Lungs Herbal Tonic. I have it available on my Etsy store if you don't really want to make it. It has a little bit different recipes, but that's because I'm making it for sale. It is still just as effective, trust me. Alright, so the first one is mullein leaf. You do 5 parts mullein leaf. You're going to do 2 parts horehound, 2 parts ginger, 1 part marshmallow root or slippery elm. One or the other. Don't use both. You'll get too much mucilage in it, and it'll make it very hard to strain. 1 part peppermint leaf or rosemary, depending on which one you prefer. And then the optional one is 1 part pleurisy root. You're going to mix all these together, and the best way to use this would be in a tea form. Would be the best way to use it to get rid of an immediate problem. If you're trying to use it for maintenance type, you would turn this into an extract, and then you could use it as an extract for maintenance. But if you're trying to actually get rid of the problem, hot tea is going to be the best option to use this with. So that's my video for this. If you guys like this video, please let me know in the comments. It really helps if you let me know. So don't forget to share this too. This message is very important.